What is up, humans of the cardboard? Welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today, we've got another deck profile for you. This time, we're looking at OGDOADIC-ORCUST. But before anything else, I just want to shout out this mat. This thing is beautiful. So if you love like the Dogmatica lore, following Ecclesia's story through the sets, through all of the releases of those cards, the Springans, the Dogmaticas, the Tri-Brigades, all of that stuff, Stigmata, now Despia coming out. This is an awesome playmat. You've got Ecclesia here with the Stigmata Dragon on this side, and if you flip it over, you'll have Ecclesia with the Golgonda, the Sand Serpent, for the Spriggans side of things, and it looks amazing. I love the black and white. There's different colors as well. I think there's like white with red ink, like the background's white with like red lines, which is really cool. And yeah, so if you want to pick it up, I'll leave a link in the description, teamcog.company.site. But I'll leave it in the description if you guys want to pick it up. I'll get a couple bucks back for every copy I sell through the channel. So, you know, that'll be sweet. And I'll have like a discount code. I'll also leave that in the description as well for a couple bucks off. Anyway, let's get into this profile here. Enough plug-in, all right? Shout out to the Kali effect, by the way. OGDOADIC-ORCUST was not one of the OGDOADIC versions I really had in the forefront of my mind when the set was releasing, and then I saw the deck profile by Kali effect, and that really opened my eyes to it. I do think it is one of the better variants. Not 100% sure if it's the best variant, but it is definitely one of the better ones. So shout out to him, because I didn't even really think of this variant until I saw his video. So I wanted to get that out there. So let's get started off with our OGDOADIC lineup. Very simply, we start with 3 copies of Nunu, 3 copies of Nalia, 1 Zoha, 1 Curse, 1 Alert, and then the 1 Ogdo Abyss, the OGDOADIC Overlord. There's really not too much anything crazy going on here. This is fairly simple as far as I know it. Yeah, I mean, this is about as condensed as you want to play it. You don't even have to play Ogdo Abyss if you don't want to, but it allows you to high roll other things. You have certain hands where you can end on him as well, and reborning him later in games is really strong. So yeah, I mean, you just water lily him back at some point. He's another brick, and I know this deck does play some bricks. It can brick, but you also have so many power cards that it's like all you need is 1 power card to resolve, and it'll completely fix every brick in your hand, essentially. So yeah, super standard here. I'm not going to go over these. I've already done multiple videos, and there's tons of videos going over what these cards actually do, but very standard lineup there. Next up for the Orcust stuff, again, kind of just a standard lineup. 3 Girsu, the Orcust Mech Knight. 3 Orcust Nightmare. 2 Symbol Skeleton, and 2 World Wand as well. We'll scoot these over. I'm pretty sure this is where I want to be. Yeah, super standard. I mean, there's even an argument for cutting down on this. You could play the 1 Skeleton, 2 Nightmare, because Nightmare can be a brick in certain hands, but there are also hands where it's like really good to see in, because now we're playing stuff like Snake Rain, and honestly, if I had something like Forbidden Droplets, I'd probably play it as well, just as a generic great going second card, and this card's like as good as it gets for like discard fodder for stuff like that. But this is really good. Opening like Snake Rain, a good discard, and Girsu, it's just game, because even if they ash, you're getting value out of the card you discarded, and you have the 1 card combo in Girsu. It feels so insanely good. So yeah, super standard, super powerful. I really enjoy the Orcust engine. It just hasn't been able to do enough by itself. Maybe this could help it get to a more competitive level, or maybe the Scrap engine, when Scrap Raptor comes out in Lightning Overdrive in a couple weeks, that may be the difference. Who knows? We're about 2 weeks away. For the Hand Trap lineup, next we're playing 3 Ash, 2 Ghost Bell, 2 Nibiru, and 2 Artifact Lancia. This is somewhat standard. I mean, these hand traps are probably widely considered some of the best hand traps of the format, so nothing too crazy here. Ghost Bell hitting specific things like Nadir Servant, Nibiru, being a bomb card, but really only being particularly amazing when you see it with another hand trap. So obviously we're pairing it with a decent number of hand traps. And then Lancia stopping stuff like Dinos, unless they're playing Gilosaurus, or just hindering Dragon Link from doing like full combos and stuff. So really, really cool here. This is fine. Like I said, I'd probably swap 3 copies of these 9 hand traps for droplets if I had them, just because this deck has so many amazing discards. I mean, Nunu's a good discard. Nalia's not a bad discard if you can get Curse Engrave. Speaking of which, Zoha, Curse, Alert, and Ogdo-Abyss, all good discards. Nightmares, Symbol Skeletons, World Wands, all good discards. Babble's a good discard. Crescendo's not even a bad discard. You have a million great discards in the deck. So that card's like amazing in this deck. I just don't have the money. So technically you call this a more budget build. All right, for some spells though, the only Orcust spells we're playing is 1 Babble, 1 Return. Because we're not playing a pure Orcust list, I don't want to brick on playing multiple copies of Return, but still having the 1 copy can be nice just to set off Galatea there, or if you're just bricking on, you know, like I said, Nightmares, Skeletons, Wand, this card can be huge to help you get some draws. Then for the Ogdoadic stuff, 3 Snake Rain, 2 Water Lily, and a Foolish Burial. Yeah, this is all pretty standard. Snake Rain's a must-have at 3. Water Lily, I think, is a must-have at 2, because if you open one, you still want to get value off your Nalia, which gives you potential for the next turn. And this, a lot of times, the second one is what's going to summon Ogdo-Abyss later in duels to, like, seal duels up. So 2, in my opinion, is pretty mandatory. And then the Foolish Burial. This card's, like, better than Water Lily in the deck because it also has the potential of sending something like a Orcust Nightmare and just getting into Orcust stuff off of just 1 card. Really, really good. Yeah, I mean, this is all super standard. I don't think you're ever not playing this lineup. Maybe you won't play Return if you make that decision, but that's up to you, obviously. And then for the last spells, Monster Reborn and Call. These are just generically amazing. Reborn, just reborning stuff like Ding. Reborning Galatea to get a shuffle and then summon Ding. Reborn for Ogdo-Abyss, right? Just to make him live, right? There's a ton of great targets in there. And then Called, again, like Ash on Snake Rain. It's really can be painful depending on the hand. So stuff like Called is pretty cool there. You could have also tried to play Gamma just because you're activating Snake Rain, you're activating Foolish Burial, you're activating like Nunu and Nalia from hand to send stuff. And if any of that stuff is getting messed with by a monster effect, you then Gamma can be pretty good. So I would look at potentially swapping out 4 copies of our hand traps maybe. You could swap like Nib and Lancia for that and then maybe side those or Ghost Spell, up to you. There's definitely potential there. And then last card in the deck is just Orcust Crescendo. Nothing too crazy here. This is like pretty standard, I guess. You know, got to play it. And also, I did this once in testing where you discard this off of Snake Rain. Snake Rain gets ashed, and then you just use this to search Girsu, and then Girsu's 1 card combo. It's really, really funny, but really cool. So 40 cards in the main, not really trying to mess around with too much there. You could look at stuff like Allure of Darkness or something if you want to try and mess with consistency a little bit, but to be honest, I'm not. I just think that's going to like hurt you more in the end. Half the Ogdo-Abyss stuff or Ogdoadic stuff is light, not even all dark, so that definitely can hurt. But for the links for the extra deck, 1 Linkuriboh, triple Galatea, Ivy Masquerena, Unicorn, and Boral Sword. Could try and fit a Phoenix in here. You don't need 3 Galatea, but I do think there are duels where turn 1 you're going through 2 Galatea. And so having like the 3rd Galatea just in case you need it can be really nice for like longer drawn out duels. But other than that, you can potentially drop that for something like a Phoenix or some other cards we'll talk about down the line. But this is pretty standard. Gets you OTKs, gets you removal / disruption with IP Masquerena. And then Galatea and Linkuriboh making your Girsu token into an effect monster can be really huge. For Exceeds, got a lot of Exceeds, decent amount. 2 Ding, obviously, gotta play this. This is super, super mandatory in this deck. 1 King of the Feral Imps. This card is really cool, part of a couple of combos with the Ogdoadic stuff. 1, what is this? This is Rika Queen Strenna, or Strenna, the Rika Queen, whatever the name is. She doesn't do anything except for when she's tributed while it has material, it'll special summon any like, it's like plant Exceed, and then it equips itself as material. So you play the 1 Sacred Tree Beast Hyperiton with it. The idea is just via the Ogdoadic, some of the other Ogdoadic combos, you could just make a rank 4, make the rank 4, then tribute her with one of the Ogdoadics engrave, and then she summons the Hyperiton. So really, really good. He's just a monster negate, so at that point you are safe from monster hand traps and stuff like that. Really, really cool. And then finishing up, you play the Draglubion package, just Draglubion, Titanic Lad, and the Numeron Dragon. This card will either overlay Numeron on top of the Harbinger to then have a OTK, or you overlay the Harbinger over the Numeron Dragon for a spell negate that also floodgates your opponent's attacks to itself. Which is really, really cool. So, yep, super, I don't want to say super standard here. There's also the potential for trying to fit in something like Zeus, because ORCUST easily summons Ding so easily. So, like, get Ascend and then go into, like, Zeus can be pretty good. But there's other things, too. I don't know. There's a couple of, like, Zeus is the big one. You could also, like I said, Phoenix before. You could try and play another rank 4. Some people like to play either, like, Dweller or Bagusco with, like, the OGDOADIC stuff, because they can make a rank 4 fairly easily. So that's definitely a thing, potentially. But, yeah, this is pretty good. This is where I'm at. There's actually just a lot. So there's actually just so many options for your extra deck that this is just where I'm at right now. And you can obviously take your own liberties in deciding what other cards you might want to try and find room for. But that is it for today, guys. This deck is really cool. What's so cool is that, like, you can just lean on either engine or. The only thing I would complain about with this deck is that your engines don't get access to each other. That's really the only thing I'd say. Right, like the OGDOADICs don't get you access to the ORCUST stuff. I guess technically you could make a Dingirsu and then link Dingirsu into a Galatea, so I guess that's really the only way. But other than that, they don't really get access to each other. Other than that, though, they fit pretty well, because none of the OGDOADIC stuff needs to be normal summoned. A lot of it works better as, like, sending to grave to then trigger stuff, and you don't even use your normal that way. So that fits perfect with, like, using Girsu as your main normal summon. Stuff like having a normal summon like Girsu getting ashed and then resolving Snake Rain afterwards, or vice versa, right? You Snake Rain, they have to ash it if they see it, and then you go Girsu. Can be so punishing, so strong. And that's obviously, like, where the strong points of the deck really are. So that's going to do it for me here today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more deck profiles coming very soon. I mean, I might have one more build of OGDOADIC coming up, and then other than that, we are waiting on Lightning Overdrive. I have legit, like, 15 decks, like between 10 and 15 decks that I'm very excited to update post Lightning Overdrive. So I cannot wait for that set. I think it's the best core set of the year so far. We'll see what happens with Burst of Destiny, but other than that, it definitely blows out of the water Dawn of Majesty and Blazing Vortex, in my opinion. And we'll just have to see how she goes. So like I said, subscribe for more. Let me know in the comment section down below, by the way, any changes you would make to this deck list. OGDOADIC is still super new. I'm still super new to the deck, so I'm still trying to do, you know, the best I can, and I definitely would appreciate any advice there. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.